Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So guys, in this video we are going to learn Laravel 8 jQuery Ajax image CRUD application guys. So we will be inserting the images and editing, updating and deleting and fetching all the records of this images using jQuery Ajax, that is without the page reload. So there will be no fresh refresh or page reload. Okay, so guys, let's get started. So first, let's install a Laravel application. So guys, I have already installed it. This is my fresh Laravel application, and just get started with connecting your database. So I have connected my database, and now let's create a table. Okay, so let me show my database first. So this is my database, and inside this I will create a table with the name employee. So guys, let's create our three things, that is model, controller and a table. So first, start your terminal and we'll create first a table. So php artisan make colon migration create underscore employees table. Okay, it should be plural, not singular. Hit enter. So created migration. So let's go to our database, migration, and at the last you'll find employee table. Okay, so employees, and in under this we are going to create three fields. So one will be the string input, that is varchar, where we will take employee name, and next we will take one phone number, and then one more thing, one is image. Okay, so let's keep all this in a string. Save guys, and now let's migrate this table into our database. So let me just show you my database right now. You can see there is no employee table right now. Give a command php artisan migrate, hit enter. So migrating and migrated guys, perfect. So let's see that. Refresh first. Okay, so here is our employee table. Cool. So yep guys, now let's create a model and a controller and get started to build the CRUD application. So first let's create a model. php artisan make colon model where employee, hit enter. Model created successfully. Let's go to app model where employee.php and create a protected $table is equal to, we are defining, okay, spelling mistake, protected, and the table name, copy from here, paste it, protected your fillable, that is nothing but your table column fields. So you can copy name, phone and image. So let's tell name, copy paste, phone, and one is image. Save it. Now you can close the table and your model. And now guys, last thing, the controller. php artisan make colon controller where I want an employee controller. Okay, hit enter. Employee controller created. Let's go to http controller where employee controller. Okay, now let's create a route. So first let's go to routes web.php. Let's create a simple route colon get function where we will tell slash employee the controller which we have created, that is employee controller. Okay, so the class is imported, colon class, add the index function you are going to call. So when you call this URL, you are going to index function. Let's copy this guys, and if you don't find this, import the class of this. Okay, so it's already imported. Let's copy this index function, go to your employee controller, create a public function with the name index where return view, where I want to call inside the employee employee folder an index blade file. So let's copy this employee and create one folder inside our resource views. Inside views folder, I want to create the employee folder, and inside this employee a index named blade file. Okay, perfect. So now guys, let's extend our layouts. So extends, that is layouts.app, and start your section, that is the content, and section. So over here guys, we need to give the design. So we are using Bootstrap 5. So let me just go to this path, and I have imported the CDN link guys. If you don't find, you can just copy it from here, get bootstrap.com, where go on docs, you can find that CSS and bundle link. Okay, so you need to just copy and paste that. So this is the CSS and this is the bundle. So before that, I'm copying a Jquery CDN link. Okay, so you can just Google that Jquery CDN link, you will get that, and copy and paste it. That's it guys. And this is a script yield which we will be using further. So let's get started to design the form. Container, row, column MD12, where card, header, h4, Laravel image CRUD. Okay, Laravel Ajax image CRUD, where you'll tell employee data, card body, table. Okay, let me just arrange this. Cool. So over here you are going to start with the table design. So right now we are not designing the table, so let's just start with the inserting a form. So just use a tag, give a hash, add employee. Okay, give a class, button, primary button, small, float end, save. And now guys, let's see the output. So go to your web routes, copy this path, and get back to your Laravel. Perfect. So you're getting this output guys, and now when you click on this, we need a form pop-up model. So for that, let's use Bootstrap 5, where you can type model and search for that. So you can get a demo over here. So let's copy this. So I'm just copying this code, copy, and paste that into your index blade file. Add this a tag, and this example model, we will name it as model as add employee. Okay, now get back, copy the model. So this model, copy and paste above the form, and the name which you have given that, copy this and paste it over here, paste. That's it. Let's change the title, add employee, and your form starts here and ends here. Okay, so now let me just minimize, get back, refresh, and click on it. You can see the form. Cool guys. So now let's create our form of the input fields and the file. Let's start with that. So first guys, before this body, model body, open the form and close over here. Now you're not going to give any action, just give method which will be post, and we are sending files, so we need to type enc type multi-part form data. Okay, and let's create one ID for this form, which will be add employee form will mention. It will be more clear because it's in a form tag, so let's make it more clear. And over here your input fields, so form group 3, well, label, name, input.form control, and the name you have to give name. Okay, so whatever that name we give, copy, paste, paste, paste. More clear, guys? Next is phone, name attribute as phone, and this is your image. This input type file will be image file, and this name attribute will give as image. Okay, save button, and this button type will be submit. Okay, done. And now guys, let's see the output first. Refresh. Cool. So name, phone, and your image. Let's get back. And now guys, let's start the code of jQuery Ajax. So let's get below over here. Let's start the section of scripts. Okay, let's end that. So this script is nothing but the file which we have extended over here. Okay, so this script you have to copy and paste it over here. So yes guys, now let's start with the script tag and start your jQuery code. So jQuery doc, where let's select jQuery on event. So jQuery on, where document loads, and the event will be on submit. So on what submit, you'll be checking that is nothing but the ID. So let's copy that ID. This is the form. Okay, so form ID you're going to copy. Okay, let me just minimize this. This is my hash and that ID. To prevent the page reload and all, you can just give prevent default event dot prevent default, and after this let's create one variable with the let, which will tell form data. Let's create in small. Form data is equal to new form data. Okay, function, and inside this function what we are going to check, that the form ID, because we will be using multiple forms right in the same page. So for that sake we are going to declare that over here inside this. So dollar open and close bracket, single quotes, hash, and paste this because it's an ID, and of that we are going to take the first value, that is 0. Okay, perfect. And now guys, you can start with the Ajax request. So jQuery Ajax, where you are going to tell the first method type is equal to post, and the URL which I want to tell as, let's give same employee only. Okay, so we'll post with this, and now data will be your form data. So this form data will take all your input fields, file, everything. Okay, so with this help of form data we are going to take all the data. Let's paste. Data type you can send in JSON or else not required, so just remove that, but you need to send some content types which we have to make it false. So content type colon false, and then your process data. So process data colon false. So once if it is everything is working fine, you will get the response over here. So you will get the response either error or success. So guys, let's build that. So let's copy this employee and go to your web.php and create a post method with the same URL called employee. Okay, and create the controller. So we are going to use the same controller. Let's define that. This will make it to store. Okay, copy and go to your employee controller and create a function with the name store. So let's type function where store function, and we are going to accept a request. That means your input field data. Okay, and over here, so first step we will validate all your input fields. So which input fields? This, all these input fields. So validation, let's tell validator is equal to where validator colon colon make function where dollar request of all the input. Okay, give comma, open and close bracket, square bracket, where inside this you are going to call your input fields. So my input fields are name. So let's copy this name, paste over here, and then tell over here it's required, and maximum 191, copy and paste. Next will be your not, just give comma, this will be your phone, and same condition. And for the image, over here image, this image field, copy this image and paste, required, and it's an image, and then MES, where you can tell JPEG, where PNG, JPG. Okay, so this JPEG, okay, where you can mention that max size also, so max colon 2048. Okay, and yep guys, so let's copy this validator variable and check with the if condition. So if this validator fails, if ALS fails, if it passes means, else you will execute the code. So before that, let's return a response function with the JSON format, where you are going to tell status, which will be the 400, and errors. Just copy the variable validator, and this will only give your all the errors. So we'll tell messages function. Okay, save it, and once it's correct means you will be in this condition. So write a code to store that. Employee is equal to where my employee model, so you need to import that. So I have imported it. Now just add new, let's copy this and call your database field names. So that database fields are nothing but name, phone, and image. Okay, so same way. And what are the requests? So this request, the request which you are getting from the input field. Okay, so it will search for this input, will search for the name attribute, so it's not to worry. Let's call that name. So the name over here, copy and paste. This is your database name, and this is your input field name. Okay, and same way for image also. So image is a different format to store that. So let's use if condition over here, where we will check that $request of has file. Okay, file function, where you will tell that image. So let's get back this, copy this name attribute of image, and if the image is present, then it is going to become inside, where $file is equal to $request of your file. We are getting that image. Okay, and let's remove the extension from this. So let's create one variable called extension is equal to where $file of get client original extension. So after this, let's create a file name is equal to where I'm going to use time function dot, I'll concatenate with the dot extension, and then your extension, whatever JPG, PNG, JPEG, whatever comes. Okay, so time dot JPG, like that it will concatenate. And now guys, after doing this, we want to save this file and save the data also. So first let's move the file. Okay, let's copy this $file with the help of move function. You are going to move the data. So where inside uploads folder /employee, okay, / and give comma, not dot, and then your file name. So I want to store in this path with the file name. Okay, and as usual guys, you need to copy this, paste, and call your database name. Copy image, paste it, and then your file name, whatever you have created, new one. So let's copy this file name and send it. So now guys, you need to copy your employee variable and use a save function to save the data. And after that, let's copy this, paste. Your status will be 200, which means its message is successful. Give employee image data added successfully. Okay, that's it guys. So now let's get back to our index played file. Let's go to our Ajax over here, and over here you need to give that condition, what in case of success or an error. So let's use if condition, if where this response dot status is double equal to, where we will tell as 400. So first we will check the error. So this status 400, okay, and then loop that errors. So you can just use JQ each, where you will tell response dot errors. So the errors which you copied from here just now, and this will be a key and this will be your values. Okay, you can tell error value, copy, and then you can loop that. So let's loop in one div tag with the help of append function, where you will tell li open and li close, where single quote plus plus error values, where you'll close that in a save error list. So let's copy this and create a div tag. So before that, let's empty this first. If you create, like, if anything is available, you need to empty that. So $HTML, where we'll pass it null. Okay, so let's add one more thing. So I just remove class of display none. Okay, copy this, go back on the form, okay, on my add form, create a UL tag, class name, not class, class name, and then your ID as save error list, and the class will be alert warning, where D none you have to add. Okay, save. Now guys, let's get back to our jQuery. So first let's check this, the error thing. Let's get back, refresh. Now click, we are not inserting any data, so obviously we'll get an error. Let's click on save. So nothing happened. Let's inspect and see what. Inspect. Okay, so it's showing an error called 419. So that means CSRF token is been asked. You can just go to your network and just see that CSRF token mismatch. So guys, you need to laravel.com documentation, search for Ajax, you'll get this. Okay, so let's copy this and paste back just over here. And now let's test it again, refresh, let's clear everything, click on save. We get the error called validator error. So let's import the class of that. Let's get back to our employee controller, where validator, import it. So eliminate support facets validator. Okay, So just import this class, guys. Save. Now let's refresh once again and let's try it again. Let's clear all. Save. Perfect. So you can see, guys, the name field is required, phone image field is required. Okay, so now let's get back. What in case data goes correct? So you need to write else if over here, copy the same code, response.status dot, which will be 200. Okay, so that 200 status, this one. So this status 200 comes, means that time you need to show the message, guys. So before that, you need to empty this first, copy, and instead of remove class, make it to add class. All set. This dot reset function. So this will empty all your input fields after inserting the data. And after inserting the data, I want to close this model. Let's get back. Copy the model name. Go to the top. This is the add employee model. Let's get back. Dollar open and close. It's a ID, so mention hash dot model function, where I'm going to tell hide. Okay. After hiding, we want to show the message, so let's use alert, where you can tell what the response dot message. So let's copy this, paste it. Done, guys. Let's test it. Refresh once again, clear all the networks. Let's add, guys, now. So before that, let's check that folder first. Inside your public, we don't have any folder. Let's create that, guys. So uploads folder and employee folder. Let's go to our public folder. Inside that public folder, add uploads folder. Inside that upload folder, you need to create a employee folder. Employee folder. Okay, inside this our images will come. Let's get back, and yep, let's insert with Prakash, where some random digit phone number, and open. Let's select with this mobile one, open, and now, guys, let's click to save. So save. Let's see, we have got employee added successfully, but let's see our database first. Refresh. Perfect. So the data is added, image also is added. Let's see that image is inserted or not. Let's get back inside uploads, employee, and you have seen that image also is added over here, whatever we have selected. Perfect. But the model did not close. Why? Let's see that. So it did not enter over here. Let's get back to our console. You can see that this dot reset is not a function. The error, we have seen that over here. Okay, not an issue, guys. You can just comment that out. We don't require. If you want to empty all the fields, just give simple code for that. We can write as dollar your form ID name. Okay, so the form ID is this. Copy this ID and search for all the input fields and just clear the data. You can just give a simple method dot find function, where you will tell input and all its value, just make it to null. Okay, save. And now, guys, let's execute once more. So let's save. Let's tell Om Prakash, random digit phone number, select with the image. So I'm going to select with second mobile, open, and now, guys, let's click to save. Perfect. Employee data image added successfully. Okay, and you can see that model is closed, guys, and our input field will be empty now. Okay, so you can check out your table. Perfect. So image is also added, data is added, guys. Let's check the image. So you can find that second image also has come. Cool. So guys, we have successfully completed how to insert the data using jQuery Ajax without the page reload in Laravel 8. So guys, let's see how to fetch the data using jQuery Ajax. So guys, let's get started. So first, let's move to this design over here. So this is the design, guys, and a table responsive div tag. So inside this only we will start with the table design. So table bordered, where table head, table row, table heading ID, table head, name, phone, then image, one for edit button and one for delete button. Perfect. So after this we need one table body, table row, with table data you are going to tell this will be your ID, and over here your name, and the phone, some random digit, and the image, guys, over here. So let's use image tag, where you will tell image and just give a width and height. So width, which will be 50 pixel, HEIG height is equal to 50 pixel, and the image over here you will be calling that. So we'll see that how to call it. So over here one button with the name edit, this button type is equal to button, and value null. Let's design this button success, where button small I want to make it. Okay, perfect. So this is edit, so we will call this as edit underscore button. Okay, copy and paste. For the delete, and this button name will keep it as delete button. Okay, and the same thing, nothing changed over here, just make it to danger, save, and now guys, let's see the output. Refresh. Perfect. So now guys, this is our data inserted into our database. Now let's fetch this data in this HTML table format. Okay, so let's go to our script tag. So this is our script document get ready, and inside this only we will create a function. Okay, so function fetch, we'll tell fetch employee, function open and close curly brace. Let's call the Ajax request. So JQ Ajax, where we are going to use get method, and URL we will tell fetch hyphen employee. So we are not sending any data, just remove that. And if you want to mention data type, that will be an JSON format. Perfect. So now guys, you need to get the response. So to get the response, let's create a route for this first. Let's go to web.php and use a route with the get method, where you will tell fetch employee, and let's copy the above controller, because we are going to use the same controller to fetch our records, and tell fetch employee function. Copy this and create a function in your employee controller. So let's move below function name employee, fetch employee, and we don't read any records. Let's create a variable with the name employee is equal to get your employee model. So my employee model : all function. Perfect. So now let's pass this variable inside a JSON format. So return and response with the JSON format, guys, where you will tell employee : your $employee. Okay, pass that. That's it. Now with this help of variable, you are going to get into your blade of response. So let's print this and check. dot employee. So before that, response dot employee. Okay, now let's copy this and paste above. So whenever the page loads, this function should be called. I'm telling that. That's it. Let's get back. Open your console log, guys, first. Let's go to console, refresh, page loaded, and you can see that data has come. So one is Ved Prakash, second is Om Prakash. That is your database values over here. Okay, so those details have come. Perfect. So now, guys, let's take all these data and print inside our HTML format, inside our table. So let's comment this and begin with .html format. Whenever the page loads, I want to make that table body to be empty. So what table body? This is the T body, that is table body. So it should become empty. After this only, it should loop all the data. So you are having multiple data over here, right? 1 and 2 data. So guys, we are going to use for each loop in jQuery, that is called JQ each. Okay, so let's copy this response dot employee over here. This is your index value, that is we tell as keys, and this will be our items. So list of items, whatever you can mention that. And now same, we are going to copy this and paste. Instead of HTML, we will use append. Okay, and use single quotes. Done. So let's go back and just cut this, Control X, and paste over here. And let's take this, end it. Let me just minimize this sidebar. And now, guys, use backslash to concatenate. Okay, done. And let's get those values. So what values? This ID, name, phone, image. So those are the column fields. So let's get that, where plus plus and your item dot your database field name ID. Okay, so same way you're going to print for the name and phone. So let's name, phone, and then your image. So this image. So let's go to our path uploads where employee. Okay, let's call uploads / employee folder / then your column, that is image. Okay, so these fields are nothing but your database column names. Okay, so that column's names only I'm calling. Perfect. So inside this, for edit and delete button, guys, let's give the value the same ID we are going to give. So whenever click that edit or delete, we should get an ID for this. Save, guys, and now let's check it. Let's refresh. Perfect. So guys, you can see that with Prakash, Om Prakash with the image has come over here. So whatever data we have called it. So now, guys, let's add this employee. Let's tell Varun, phone, some random digit phone number. So let me adjust this soft toy, open, save, image added successfully. Okay, let's see in our database. So guys, you can see that data is added, but it did not load because we have not called that. After adding, we didn't call to load this page, right? So let's refresh now this once and let's add again. So before adding, let's call this function inside here, adding the data. So we have written that adding of code over here. So once it is success, please load that employee model, employee data, and then show the message. Okay, let's refresh and let's try to add another data. Let's tell Xavier, some phone number, and add with this soft toy 2. save. Okay, and you can see that the 4th data has come without the page reload. So as we have successfully seen that how to fetch the data using jQuery Ajax in Laravel. Okay, this HTML is not loaded. Let's check that why. Button SUCCESS. Okay, refresh. Perfect. So we have got that. We are going to learn how to edit the data and update the data in our database without the page reload using jQuery Ajax. So let's get started with it. So let's move to our VS Code. And now guys, as we have fetched the data using jQuery, and here is one button guys. So let me just minimize this sidebar. So this is my edit button, and when I click this edit button, we have to get this item ID. Whatever the ID you have passed over here, that ID we will take that and send in our model and then update that. Okay, so let's begin with that. Let's start over here, JQ on event, where we will tell document, where this will be click event guys, dot your edit button. So copy this edit button. So event dot prevent default function alert. So what you're going to alert, let's create one variable called emp_id is equal to $this dot val. So when you click this edit button, so that time that value I'm going to take and store in this employee ID, and let's see that in alert. Let's refresh, and yep guys, so let's click on the ID number 3 first. You are getting ID 3. Let's click on 1. You are getting 1. Perfect. So now guys, we are going to use the same model, okay, to fetch all the data of this. Okay, so let's get back. Let's comment this alert and call the model. So model function, where you will tell show and the model ID hash edit employee model. Okay, so this will be a model ID. So let's go top. Okay, let's minimize this first, and this is our model guys. So let's copy this model, repaste it. Let's mention this as edit employee model. Okay, edit employee model, copy and paste and end that. Perfect. So just mention end. So this will be our end over here, and make this button to update. Change the title first, edit employee, and this is your to show the error list. So instead of save error list, you are going to tell update error list, and the input fields will be same. You need to just add one more thing, that is the ID, because we want to get that data and paste into this ID. So let's tell edit_name, copy and paste for this also, and mention edit_phone, paste. We don't require this image. Okay, we don't need to pass any image data over here, so just ignore that. And now one input field guys. So let's pass input, where let's make it to text right now, because name is equal to emp_id, and then the value it will automatically store. Okay, so before that, id is equal to emp_id, all set. This is your form ID. So instead of add employee form, you need to make it to update employee form. Okay, and one submit button with the update. Perfect. So guys, now main motto, we have to get back. Let me just minimize this function. Copy this your model. So get back. This is the model ID. Just paste that. So we need to replace with the model. So edit model, on that you're going to do these things. So let's see the output. First, when I click this, model should come at least. Cool. So edit employee model. And now guys, let's fetch all this data. So when I click this ID number 3, so 3 ID name and phone number, it should come. Let's get back to the JavaScript jQuery. So let's call the Ajax guys, JQ Ajax, where you're going to use get method. So get and give a URL. You can tell edit employee / concatenate with the emp ID. Okay, so this will be employee ID, and we are not sending any data, or just remove this too, not required. So once you get the response over here, you will show. So before getting response, let's create the route. Let's use get method / where ID you're going to pass inside this, and then going to your controller. So let's copy that controller, where you will tell edit function. So let's copy this, move to our controller and create a simple edit function guys. So public function, where edit function $ID, create a variable called employee is equal to your model emp employee : where you're going to find. So just find function $ID. Let's send over here. So if the ID is found, you will show that, else you are going to show some else. Okay, so let's tell return a response function with the JSON format, where you are going to tell that it is successful. So status will be 200, and the data you are going to send with the employee variable. Copy and paste. All set guys. If in case if the ID is not found, so at that time you will show the message over here as ID not found, means 404. Okay, so that thing is not found, and remove this, tell not found, make it to message. Okay, employee not found. Save guys. And now let's get back to our script. At this success function, you are going to check two conditions, where this response dot status double equal to 404. So this one. Okay, so this 404 status we are checking. If it is 404, then you are going to tell that give an alert like the response which you got. So response dot the message what you have sent. Copy this message and send it. That's it guys, and close the model. So let's copy this, paste, and instead of show, make it to hide. Else, that means if there is no 404, obviously it's 200 message, or else you can give just same condition if 200. Okay, so you are getting the data. Let's paste that. So I mean input field response dot the employee variable. What is that variable we have sent? Employee. Copy this employee dot your database column names. Okay, so these column names, name, phone, image. Okay, so those are the fields. Let's get back where you're going to paste in the id edit underscore name. Okay, so this field is already created over here, as you can see. Next will be your edit phone and then emp id. Okay, so let's get back, name, phone, over here phone, and then one more, your emp underscore id. The emp id is you are getting directly, so let's paste that directly. Okay, all set guys, and let's test it. Refresh. So let's click on first id3. I'm going to click edit. You can see that third data has come. Perfect. Let's close. Let's click on id number 1. You can see that id number 1 data has come. So guys, we have seen that, and now let's update this record. So let's get back. First step, we will make that input of id, employee id, as hidden. We don't want to show that. And on this button, update, that is submit with the form id. Okay, so let's build it. Let's minimize this edit function. Over here, jquery doc, not doc, jquery on event we will check. So document get ready, where event will be our submit. So when that submit button is clicked, on what it is clicked? Your form id. So let me just get that form id. This is my form and this is the id guys. So let's copy this and get back and paste. Perfect. So whenever that form is submitted, that time you will get the output over here. So event.prevent default. So this will prevent your page reload. Okay. So now guys, let's get the id. So where emp, or just make it to id is equal to where open and close dot val function, not vval, it's val, where hash emp id. So this emp id you are getting from your form. Okay, so let me just show that. This is the input field emp id. Copy this emp id and just paste that, so you'll get the id. And after this guys, let's create let edit form data. Okay, it's equal to new form data. We are going to submit the form. Okay, so all the input or a file, whatever data comes over here, this will support it. Dollar open and close, where array of 0. Over here, your form data, of what form data you are going to take? Your employee update. Okay, so update form with the hash, because it's an id. Perfect. So let's send all the data from this to your Ajax request and update the data. So tell jquery Ajax, where you will tell post method. So we will be using post method over here. We are not going to use put or patch. So let's create a URL called update-employee with the id. We will concatenate that over here. So this id, let's send this id, and the data is this, and data type we are not sending. Let's remove and call that process data and content type. So let me just type content type colon false and process data colon false. So make sure you are adding these two, otherwise your form will not work. Okay, and now once it's done, you are getting the success response. So before getting the response and output, let's create the route colon post method. Okay, we are using post 1. Send that with the id use the same controller, guys. Paste where you will tell update function. Copy this, go to your employee controller and create a update function. Just type function where update with the request. So we are getting all the request and all. So type request, and over here first we will search that data is there or not. So that means validation we are going to do. So let's tell validator, let me just copy from the add of the form. Okay, we have done that already. So let's copy all these things and we'll modify it. Copy, and I'll just show you how to do that. So first validator, I don't want to validate image. Okay, so in some case we don't use image, right? So we are removing that image, and then validator fails, then you are going to show 400. That means something is going fishy over there, else you are going to find that. Okay, so let's remove this new object employee : find function where you are telling $ID. So this $ID you are getting from your update. Okay, set. And now this, with this help of $ID, you are updating all the records. What in case of if this ID is mismatch? So like you have right now 2, 3. What in case of if you put 100? So at that time you need to check that. Okay, so for that also let's use if else condition, else. So this $employee, if it is correct means true, means then you are going to be in. So okay, if you are not there, if that ID is not found, then you are going to show the message as 404 employee not found. So let's copy this response and paste as 404 and tell employee not found. Okay, and if the employee is found, then you are going to update his name, phone and image. So before updating the image, you have to remove the image, guys. So for that you need to use file. So before checking the file, let's check the path. Path is equal to where uploads folder, employee folder with your $employee of image column. Okay, so this will find your path, and then you are going to use if condition where you will use file : where exists. Okay, exists function with this $path. If this $path exists means then you are coming in and then deleting the data. So delete function with the $path. All set. It will delete the old record and then it will store this, okay, with the new record. So you are going to make no changes over here, guys. And before that you need to import this. So let's import class. Okay, so you can find eliminate supports facets. Okay, file. So let's click this. Let me just show you. So this is the class, guys. Let's get back. All set. And if the image is done means updated successfully will tell. Okay, save. Let's get back to our index, and this is our update employee form. Once if you get the response, you are going to check if response dot status double equal to what is the first condition. Let's go to employee controller. Over here we are checking with this validation first. So let's copy this validation 400. Okay, so if this comes over here, you are going to print the error messages. So for that, guys, let me just copy from below because we have already done that. So let's copy this and paste back. Perfect. So This is the jQuery loop, guys, over here. So response dot errors. So this errors you're getting from this. Okay, so this is your error list. Copy this and paste it over here and give all the error values and print loop that. So where you're going to print this, all the list of these errors, let me just show you that form. So this is our edit update model, right? So over here you're using this update error list. Copy this and get back where you're going to replace with this save error list. Perfect. Else if, okay, response dot status dot 404 at that time, what in case like ID not found, which means this one. Okay, this condition we are coming over here, and this is the 404. So copy this. In this case you are going to just give an alert message that response dot message. Okay, you can just show this message only. So this message employee not found. All set. Else you can use if over here your response dot status is double equal to 200, so which means success. So this status is 200, that means employee added updated successfully. Let's copy this and show the message. So before that I want to empty these fields. Let's copy this and paste once again, and instead of remove class, make it to add class. Close the model function, hide. Okay, so what model you are going to close? Your edit model. Like when you click edit, right? So when I click to update, this model should get closed automatically. So for that I'm going to take that model ID. So where is that model? Edit model ID. Copy this ID value and 200 and paste it over here. Perfect. So after hiding that model, I want to give alert where response dot message. So whatever response message we are getting, after that, after updating, let's fetch the function to reload. So you can just copy this function, fetch employee, paste it. Done, guys. So now let's save and get back, refresh. Let's try to update, guys. So now first I'm going to change this Varun to Varun Govind. Okay, I'm not updating any image, so that image should be that image only. Update, image updated successfully. Perfect. So you can see, guys, the data is updated and image is same. So now let's replace this image. So before that, let me just show you the output over here. Public uploads employee. So this is the image, guys. Edit, and I'm changing the phone number right now. Let's change the image to shoe and update it. Updated successfully. You can see that shoe is updated over here without the page reload using Ajax image. Okay, so let's get back. So you can see that shoe is updated. Okay, so shoe. So guys, we have completed successfully how to edit and update the data in jQuery Ajax Image CRUD without page reload. Okay, so guys, now we are going to delete the record, okay, with the image and the data. Okay, so guys, now let's get started with it. So first let's move to this table where we have fetched the data using jQuery. Let's get back. So guys, this is the function where we have fetched the record. Okay, and this is the delete button where we have that ID Okay, so these are the IDs. When I click this delete button, a pop-up model should come, where inside that pop-up model I need this ID. Okay, so guys, let's get started to build that. So let's start with JQ on event document, where you're going to tell that is click, and on what click, the delete button where I have created the class. So just add dot and push that class event, where event dot prevent default function, and inside this create a variable called emp id is equal to dollar open and close this dot val function. Okay, and now when I click this, I need to open the model first. So what model we will open? We are going to copy the same model but remove all this form. So let's get back and move back on the top. Let's minimize this. Let's copy this model and paste back. Mention this as delete employee model. Okay, copy and end it, and delete model. Now we don't require this, just remove that. Only give h4 tag. Are you sure you want to delete this data? Okay, and you will tell over here yes, delete with the submit button. So let's make it to button. Remove this form, we do not require. Just one simple input to store the value of the employee ID. So give the ID where deleting employee ID, we'll mention this. Perfect. So guys, we are making this input type text only because we want to see the ID is present or not. So make the title to delete employee and give this button name as delete model button. Okay, the model ID. So delete employee model. Copy this employee model because we are working on this only. Let me just minimize this function, it's taking too long. Dollar delete employee model, where I want to tell show, and after this I want to paste this employee ID into that input field of value attribute. Okay, so what ID? So this deleting employee ID, let's pass it. I'm getting confused, so let me just push this down. It's very clear now. Save, and now guys, let's refresh. Delete on this, you can see ID number 4. Let's delete with the ID 2. Delete, you can see ID number 2. Perfect. So with this ID we are going to delete the data. So let's get back and first make it to hidden, HIDDEN hidden, and then start the code to delete the data. So JQ on event we will check document, where I'm going to use click event only. So click, on what click? So that is delete employee button. Okay, so copy this in the class we have given, copy, and let's see that it is same. Yes, delete where. Okay, so let's replace that. Okay, done. And now pass that event where use prevent default function, and after this you're going to tell variable ID is equal to your dot value, what value you are getting, you are deleting emp id from your input field. Okay, so from that input field you are sending to Ajax request Jquery Ajax with the method delete we are going to use, and URL we will tell delete employee, and where we are going to concatenate with the ID, this ID. Okay, and the data we are not sending anything, pass the data type in JSON format and then get the success. So before that, let's create a route, copy this, go to web.php, create a route with the delete method. Okay, so pass that, open and close ID. With the help of your controller, you are going to delete the record from the destroy function. Copy and go to your employee controller and create a function. As simple, guys. Let me just paste and copy another. Let's minimize this first. Copy this, because almost the same code for destroy is similar. So we are getting that ID from your route. Okay, so delete employee route, we are getting the ID, we are searching for the ID, and if that ID is found, then you're in, else ID not found. Okay, so once you found the ID, you need to tell employee, you'll tell delete function. Okay, you're not going to pass anything over here. Employee deleted image successfully. Okay, this will be a message. You are deleting the record, but what in case of image? So for that also, create the path is equal to, where the path is, you can find that inside my uploads folder, employee folder, uploads folder, employee folder, / dot, where you're finding the ID, right? So from this employee you're finding the image also. So what record exists over here, that image you're finding that and then deleting it. So let's use if condition, where file : exist exists function $path. So if it exists means you are going to delete the record with the help of delete function. Okay, so this will delete your photo also, image also, and then record also, and show this data is deleted successfully. So now guys, let's get back and take this status 200 and 404. So on this response you are going to check if response dot status is = 404 if it is not found. So at that time you are going to show that alert response dot message. Okay, and just close the model. So what model? This model, your delete employee model to hide. Done. Else if response, so your response dot status = 200. If it is success means you are going to do the same thing. You are going to show the message, close the model, and then you are going to delete, closing the model, and then you have to reload this page. Okay, I mean not page, reload this function. So to reload you need to call that function. Copy this, you'll call this function where you are going to reload all the data using Jquery Ajax. So save, and now let's test it. Refresh, So now we are going to delete this data, and without the page reload it will delete the data with the image. Okay, so this image also will get deleted. Let's click delete. Yes, delete. Employee image deleted successfully. Click. The data 4 has been deleted, and you can see that the image also is deleted. Perfect. So guys, we have successfully completed our Laravel CRUD image with Ajax. So guys, we are going to learn how to integrate Alertify in our application. So let's move to Alertify.js. So let's go to alertify.js.com and let's click on getting started. Over here we are getting Alertify CDN, where we have to copy this one script. So let's copy this and get back to your application. So you will be having one layout file, app file. Okay, so I am having this where I have pasted below my bootstrap. So whatever your main files will be, that will be top, and then Alertify. Okay, then after this the scripts all will be added over here. Okay, and then guys, you need to copy two CSS files. One is your Alertify main and one is your default main. Copy and just paste that. Done. So to test this guys, let us just see one demo over here. Let's go to component and notifier. So let's see that over here, positions. So let's move to top right. You can see this, right? Run. You are getting the alert over here. Perfect. So let's copy this code and just paste anywhere. So let me just paste it in my blade file. So after the script only I want to paste that to test it, guys. So let's paste over here and remove this, not required. I am here. Save, refresh. So you can get that I am here. Okay, so now when we are adding this record or editing, updating the records, so at that time we want to show this Alertify. Let's get back. Let's just copy this, and wherever if you find alert, you need to just replace over there. So on this delete button you can find this one alert is over here and one is over here. So let's comment this and just paste this 2 line of code and get this response.message. Replace. That's it, guys. So let's copy this and paste it. Done. And next step, for edit we don't have, for update let's see in the success where you are having one alert over here and one is over here. Let's comment him and paste that. So same way, comment this and paste it. And for the add, you can see that alert is at this, comment and add. Done, guys. So now let's refresh once. Okay, let me just comment that we don't require in that beginning. Where is it? Remove this. That was for testing. Refresh. Cool. So let's add like Alex. So some random digit phone number. Add the image. Let's add this PO image, soft toy. Save. Employee image added successfully. Perfect. So we have got that Alertify. Let's edit Alex bro. Let's update. You can see that updated data. And if you want to delete, yes, delete. Got image deleted successfully, and that data also is removed. So guys, we have successfully seen that how to integrate Alertify.js into our CRUD application. So thank you once again guys. Please subscribe, like and share.